hope you're all staying dry tonight. Thank you for ending your weekend with us tonight at 10. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz here with Simone Thomas. Now, Simone, we have just seen rainy skies for days. I'm sick of it.
Today was one of those days you want to just curl up in a little blanket cocoon with something warm like a soup or a chili.
But you can only do it for so long. How long is this rain sticking around?
So the rain is getting ready to leave us, but we've got some much colder air coming into the forecast. So here's a look at where we are right now. You can see that defined line of storms kind of following that cold front that's at this point draped through southeast Arkansas. As we take a closer look across the metro, we are seeing some pockets of heavier rain moving into that I-530 corridor up a little bit closer towards the I-40 line. Now, if we take a backtrack to yesterday, here's where the totals ended up matching up. The Little Rock Metro getting just under 2.5 inches of rain yesterday. Hot Springs a little over 2. Arkadelphia just under 2. Now, when you look at where we are today, the city of Little Rock just barely over that inch thresh mark. So when you think of that, we've seen over 3 inches of rain this evening. Hot Springs clocking 1.25 inches. Mount Ida seeing 3 inches of rain today. Now, as we continue overnight, we're going to keep up the scattered to more isolated rain coverage. It'll become a little more isolated when we get closer towards those morning hours. But stay with us. I'm going to have the details on this cold surge we have coming up this week in your full forecast.
In a THV 11 update, a deadly overnight shooting in Texarkana. 3 people were killed and 3 others hurt after a fight at a party. Police say 1 man died at the scene while 2 others died in the hospital. The other 3 had non-life-threatening injuries. According to police, there was a fist fight between 2 people when 2 men pulled out rifles and started shooting. Officers are searching for 20-year-old Brioski Warren as a suspect. Pine Bluff police are asking for your help tonight locating a suspect in a shooting that happened late Friday. Officers are searching for 23-year-old Henry Raymond Arnold Jr. On Friday, police responded to a call and found a man with a gunshot wound. He was taken to Jefferson Regional with non-life-threatening injuries. If you have any information on Arnold Jr., you're asked to call the tip line. Even through today's rain, a community rallied together behind a great cause, awareness of mental illness and suicide. Tonight, THV 11's Rebecca Brown shows us the Out of Darkness walk at War Memorial and explains how you can make a difference in someone's life.
But it's not about being strong, it's about being brave. It's about being brave enough to get up every day and keep going and keep fighting and keep praying that no one else will be lost to suicide.
Rain or sunshine, one local organization made it their life's goal to raise awareness about one of the leading causes of death in the United States, which is suicide. They spent this Sunday afternoon at War Memorial Park.
A lot of people that are here have lost loved ones. Some have lost several loved ones, and so there's a vested interest. The number of survivors that I meet that say, if we could help another family never experience this again, we would do whatever it takes.
According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, nearly 50,000 Americans died by suicide in 2022. And to combat that rising number, Jacqueline Sharp, the area director for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, says it can be helped by knowing some of the signs.
They're saying things like, I'm overwhelmed or I feel like a burden. That can be a warning sign. Or their mood shifts. They aren't participating in the things that they normally participate in.
Sharp says walking with someone that's going through a dark time can make a world of a difference. And it shows that you see them, acknowledge them, and want to help.
When we talk about being brave, the bravest thing I ever did was ask for help. And it was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. And I'm so grateful for the people that have been there for me.
We want people to learn suicide prevention strategies so that if you find yourself or someone else in crisis, you can help prevent a loss. And so it's really important that we talk about it, that we bring this conversation out of the darkness and into the open and into the light.
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, THV 11 News.
The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is raising money for their research and educational program. If you would like to know where you can donate to help them reach their goal, you can visit thv11.com right now. Medical marijuana has been legal in Arkansas for almost 7 years, and there have been efforts to get the drug legalized recreationally since. But one concern stopping the law change, the fact that there's still no clear way to know whether someone is too drugged to drive. Jennifer Hoff shows you a new invention that has pot users lighting up right in front of police to put it to the test.
Leave everything here because we're going to leave an officer around here the whole time.
The outside of this tent may be white.
Yeah, do it. Do we have an ashtray?
But in it is a lot of green. Full of marijuana users lighting up in front of police officers. The curious gathering happening in Gaithersburg, Maryland, as it does several times a year.
I'll be honest with you, I was excited for the cops to pay for my weed.
The test lab of sorts helps to train law enforcement to spot whether someone is too high to drive in a state where a third of its fatal crashes involve some kind of substance.
But what's hard there is how do you parse out pot?
Right, and that's a good question.
Longtime officer Jamie Derbyshire started these labs that still only operate in a handful of states as marijuana becomes legal in more places, like it did here in July.
It's a frustrating and confusing time. You want answers. You want answers as to how to do the job well and correctly. And with regard to cannabis and impairment, we don't have all those right now.
First, check your eyes.
They rely on drug recognition experts for now.
Look at the tip of my pen.
To evaluate suspected impaired drivers.
I don't want you to push your left foot on that line.
Training that, while well-researched, is time-consuming, expensive, and can be challenged in court due to a lack of established limits, like with alcohol.
Everyone, it was so individualistic with the high that they experience and the product that they're using and how their body responds. It just makes it so difficult.
We need other tools to be able to measure impairment.
Forensic scientist Michelle Peace studies cannabis quality assurance to better protect public safety, since there's so little data about the drug, still illegal under federal law, making testing for it all the more tricky.
When it appears in the bloodstream, it also disappears from the bloodstream very quickly. So what we see is that you get a spike of the drug in your blood, potentially before you have very many effects. Giving them a THC breathalyzer might not really indicate that number that you get about how much THC is in the blood. So we really then beg the question, what do we need to determine if somebody's impaired at the time they get pulled over?
Introducing OcuPro, a new gadget made only in Minnesota.
It's lightweight and easy to handle.
A roadside test showing such promise, it's now part of a pilot program in Officer Derbyshire's department.
Absolutely, yeah.
The chief technology officer at the company, started by two sisters who invented this machine years ago, packed with technology to track even the most minor changes in someone's eyes.
This is the video that the person taking the test sees.
Just 30 seconds long.
And then it turns bright.
Collecting data to determine whether people's pupils are abnormal or not.
We're replicating the same type of results across lots of different sites, academic institutions, our own studies, and the law enforcement green labs. So a test like this that gives them more confidence and more objective data is really helpful for everybody because it just makes the whole system more fair.
The device is undergoing dozens of design changes, but Sanderson is certain the prototype is on a path to approval.
We're hoping that the OcuPro can be to cannabis the way the breathalyzer was for alcohol.
All right, guys, so we'll try to wrap this up.
Back at the lab, the cops also take classes, staying up to date on devices that could change the direction of testing drivers who are high.
That's why we're here to test this kind of stuff.
Training to be the best they can be, even if it means watching people toke up in a tent.
There are a lot of companies out there right now that are investing in solid research. And so I think that we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't consider what's out there. If it just gives them one more tool in their toolbox, then that would be great.
Now, we've talked about food insecurity across central Arkansas for months, and lots of people are familiar with the term food desert. But now, after the Smith Caldwell Pharmacy shut down in Saline County earlier this year, and big brands like CVS and Walgreens are seeing walkouts and protests by pharmacists, people are worried about the area becoming a pharmacy desert.
You know, if that pharmacy closes down, then that's created a desert. The next pharmacy may be 5 miles down the road. It could be 20 or 30 miles down the road.
Tomorrow night at 10, our Ian Russell talks to pharmacies across the state about the potential problem and how Arkansas could be positioned better than other states. Still ahead tonight, the deadline for the state to respond to the ATF's concerns over new gun laws is approaching. The latest on medical marijuana and concealed carry when we come back.
And we're looking at a gloomy night across central Arkansas. I'll have a look at the big changes coming to our forecast right after this break.